What's up YouTube? Welcome to a review for the Nintendo 2DS. This was actually released last week. I did an unboxing and in that video I told you that I was going to do a review for it to give you my final thoughts and impressions on this new piece of hardware. Let's take a quick little tour of the 2DS before I give you guys my impressions. Up top here you have your one speaker, which is a mono speaker. Front facing camera right there. You have a light indicator here and down here as well, and also on the side that's for your Wi-Fi slash street pass stuff. You got your face buttons, circle pad, D-pad, start and select right there, power button. You got your home button, your microphone is right there, headphone jack. This is a sleep tab, so if you want to put your 2DS to sleep, you just slide it over. And if you want to wake it up, just slide it back over. Over here you have your SD card slot, okay, and your stylus. Up top, you have your L&R buttons, your AC adapter port right there, infrared, and the game cart slot where you can put your 3DS games or your DS games in there. On the back you have the two cameras, all right, because the 2DS also uses the AR card, so you can do AR stuff, and it also takes 3D pictures, which seems pretty crazy, but it actually does. And then on the side you have your volume slider, so you can control the volume. Let's do some size comparisons here. On the left hand side we have the 2DS, and on the right hand side I'll put a regular 3DS. This is my Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition 3DS. Open that up and you guys can see that the 3DS and the 2DS do have the same size screen. Okay, the screens are the same size on the 2DS and the original 3DS. As far as width goes, the 2DS is wider than the 3DS. You guys can see that. Right? And it is a little bit more heavier. The 2DS is a little heavier. This thing is kind of light, but you know, not too heavy. This definitely isn't a brick, but it has a little weight to it. When you have the 2DS and the 3DS sitting next to each other, the size is kind of comparable. You know, they're kind of the same size. But let's get rid of this 3DS and pull out the big boy, the 3DS XL. And you can immediately see that this 3DS XL totally wants to eat the 2DS. It's huge. Right? Open that up and you'll totally notice that the screens on the 3DS XL are far bigger compared to the 2DS. Both screens are far bigger. Okay. As far as the width goes, the 3DS is wider and it is heavier. It truly is. And just for funsies, I want to compare the Nintendo 3DS card case, which I got from Club Nintendo. I'm going to compare that to the 2DS, and it's pretty much the same size. The 2DS fits right on the top of this card case. So yeah, it's kind of small. As far as actual games go, I think they look great on the 2DS. They're pretty much the same. They're comparable to the 3DS and the 3DS XL. Although I will say that these graphics are crisper than what you would see on the 3DS XL, because the 3DS XL has the larger screens, you know, so things are more stretched out. But here, you know, on the 2DS and definitely on the original 3DS, you get a sharper image. Here's a DS game running on the 2DS. This is Lunar Nights. It's one of the games that I'm currently playing. And it runs perfectly. I mean, it works well. It truly does. It's nothing different from what you would expect from a 3DS or a 3DS XL. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I really do like the 2DS. And the reason I like the 2DS is because it feels natural to play. This thing is so comfortable to play. And you wouldn't think that because of the way that it's designed. I mean, it has this awkward shape to it. But I guess that's the reason why it's shaped awkwardly, you know, for it to feel so natural. This thing feels natural. It truly does. I mean, it's not uncomfortable at all. It's more natural to play the 2DS than the 3DS and the 3DS XL. And that's just because everything is positioned. Everything that you need is positioned right where you would want it to be. So it's just really comfortable to hold and to play games in long sessions. One of the only problems I have with the 2DS is the volume slider. The fact that it's kind of hard to adjust it. I wish it kind of stuck out a little bit more so it would be easier to get to. Sometimes I have to use my nails to actually, you know, slide it up and down. But other than that, I mean, everything's cool. And I thought I was going to have a problem with the speaker, but the speaker sounds just fine. I mean, there's no problems there. Now, I do want to point out that the 2DS battery life is comparable to the battery life of the 3DS, and that's the original 3DS. Okay, I played my 2DS the entire week, and I had to do that in order to get enough impressions and thoughts on it before I reviewed it for you guys. So I got about 4.5 hours of, you know, battery out of gameplay with it before I had to charge it up, before it died on me. And it's really not that bad, but when you compare it to the battery life of the 3DS XL, you know, it kind of stinks. But I did want to point that out. I know that's an important feature for some of you guys out there, so I did want to make note of that. So I guess the big question is, Steph, do you recommend a 2DS? Do you think it's worth going out there and buying? And I'm going to say yes, but only on certain conditions. There are a few conditions here. I do recommend the 2DS if you don't have a 3DS or 3DS XL. Okay, definitely recommend the 2DS if you are on a budget. You know, you don't want to spend a lot of money. Go for the 2DS, and especially if you don't care about the 3D functionality, definitely go for it. This is a cheaper way to get into portable gaming. I mean, you're going to save yourself a few bucks and you'll be able to play some of the awesome DS and 3DS games that are already out and some of the awesome 3DS games that are coming out in the future. I also recommend the 2DS to parents out there that have younger kids that are trying to get their children into gaming. This is a great way, guys. I honestly will say this looks like my first gaming system. It truly does. It looks like a preschool toy, but it's not built that way. It definitely doesn't have a cheap feel to it. It's nice and sturdy and has some weight on it as well. So that's my review for the Nintendo 2DS. I hope you guys found it helpful, and if you have any other questions relating to the 2DS, definitely ask them in the comment box below. I want to thank all of you guys for watching this video, and I'll check you next time.